And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. Joined again with Sean Gervais from OrbisX CRM, as well as Marshall Hill from the Pints and Polishing Podcast. And pay attention now, Hyper Clean Car Care Products.
As
That's
I sit
right.
up in my chair trying to get ready,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we were off
yeah.
the clock chatting for like an hour at a time. I kind of
I
got
know.
really relaxed. I was like, oh, wait, we're starting. I got to better sit up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, because we
You
always
ever
have.
watch back on Spotify? Like Spotify shows the video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they changed it now. It used to be just audio, and then
hmm
then they now do the video stuff and everything.
But
So
I think some people start seeing some clips out, huh?
yeah, yeah, 100%. And now we'll be able to do because I got the new thing, we can do like clips, different places and stuff. It'll be good. But yeah, the feedback from the last couple episodes, people are liking the deep dive and stuff, and which is good. And assessing the industry as a whole in a way by looking at what people are going through. Because we're seeing obviously a lot more posts nowadays. People are, blaming the economy, blaming this, blaming that. There's a million things to blame. But economies, it's kind of, to me, it's like climate change. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, the climate's changing. The climate has never stayed the same. Like it's not gonna stay the same forever. Like there's periods where it's been, frozen ice, periods where it's been super hot, like lava, periods where the dinosaurs were roaming the earth, if you believe that stuff or not. I don't know. I'm not getting into all that, but there's periods where the world just goes through changes, and that's what business is
Well,
like.
how do you not believe in dinosaurs? You can
Oh,
see the
I
fossils.
I believe in dinosaurs. There's people out
I
there.
so
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
I was this past weekend. I was in Phoenix, chatting with Zaya. He's a guy that he's got a really great shop there in Phoenix. He actually was one of my early videographers
Nice.
from like 17 and 18 at Mobile Tech
Oh shit,
and
no
at
way.
SEMA and stuff. Yeah, he was in the Airbnbs and in all that. He was one of the first guys that saw me moan and complain and would make fun of me as I would walk up and down the stairs as I didn't know what was going on in my body.
Oh shoot. Damn.
But I was in a lot of pain and they would always make fun of me. And
Oh damn.
I
Jeez.
reminded him of that. And yeah, he joked about it. But he and I were talking about in Austin.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a really awesome city, really great place to go, Austin, Texas. But they have a place that if you get off the highway and you park in this really random place, you follow this map down this riverbed, and they have it blocked off. You're not allowed to drive anything. You're not allowed to do. You have to walk, and you see once like we were like my daughters. This was literally like 8 years ago or so. This is a long time ago when we went. Since 25. So yeah, this would have been like 16, 17, something like that. Like this is a while ago. And they were getting whiny, and we were all like, they were like, and I was like, come on, let's just keep going. It's supposed to be right up here.
Yeah.
Right at that moment, they see it. And going from our right to left, I mean, these things, the two of them sit in the footprint. So this was a big ass boy, right? It was a big old
That's
boy.
crazy.
And you see these footprints. There's about, I think, 6 or 7 of them that go across this riverbed. And so
Whoa.
it fossilized, and then somehow over time, everybody's going to die. I get it, but just go Google it, go whatever. I mean, it's real. We took photos. It's crazy.
That's
So I don't
cool.
know how anybody could ever not believe in dinosaurs.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go to
It's
Austin,
true.
Texas. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It's true. No, I'm in the same boat though, because it's here, for example, in Canada, we had a lot of like fossils, things like that. Our whole oil fields, apparently that's all from the bodies decomposing and stuff like that. It's but yeah, we have fossils like crazy.
you not believe in dinosaurs. Isn't that what oil is, right? It's all the decomposed of life form
Exactly. Yeah, the biolife, yeah.
into billions of years or millions of years. I think that's where most people have the problem. It's not
Yeah.
that we don't believe them. I think it's we don't understand, or we, based on a religion or not a religion, we put a timestamp on when
Yeah.
they are and where we are now in time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true, yeah. Although I do know some people that think that it's like made up, it's a government thing or something. It's like,
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not, I know of them. I'm not like friends with them.
Like Area 51?
Yeah, yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and see me, I grew up in a science household. My dad was a chemistry teacher, and he also taught physics and stuff like that. Actually, interesting story. He worked on a project. My dad's one of the smartest guys that I know, but he worked on a project with BlackBerry in their heyday when they were basically.
Oh, the best phone ever.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I agree.
A
100%.
rollerball, and then you could, I mean,
Yeah. Texting,
ain't
like,
nothing
texting
today. You
without
see people
looking.
doing this, they'd never compete. It
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
wouldn't even been in the same ballpark, right?
100%.
Wouldn't have been. The
100%.
BlackBerry, how fast you could
Yep.
go with that thing.
Oh yeah, and they had like the end-to-end encryption and so much stuff in it. They were ahead of their time. They'll never go to business because they own so many patents. They have something like $4 billion in patents and stuff like that. But yeah, when they were in their heyday, my dad got invited by BlackBerry to come in a room with I think it was 150 physicists from around the world, and my dad went, and he said for the first time in his life, he felt like the dumbest person in the room. And so, because my dad super intelligent, he's just blows my mind the stuff that he knows. He reads more books than I do, and I read about 5 books a week. And he knows so much shit. I got a lot of my like smarts and stuff from him, but he's very science based, very science focused. But his goal at that conference thing, they put all these guys in a room and they gave them random stuff, VCRs, printers, you name it, just random things, diodes, I don't know, sensors, all kinds of shit. And they said, make some stuff. That's what they said. No parameters. They said, make some stuff. So they all huddled in groups and they said, oh, maybe we could this, that. So one of the things my dad worked on, which was kind of cool, was something for people that own cottages and you're on a lake where it goes in the water and it assesses the water quality, but it also monitors the water level, how it changes. And it could warn you ahead of time if there's a potential flood or things like that. So it was kind of cool stuff. So they were
That's
working
really
on things like
cool.
that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, super cool. And so they were doing stuff, but when he told me for the first time, he felt like he was in grade 5 and he was surrounded by adults. That's how he described it to me. He said the stuff these guys knew was just mind-boggling. But man, and like he loses me when he tells me stuff about like the fabric of space and how it can like fold and then you can jump from one place to another and stuff, and like quantum computing and stuff, how an atom can be one way over here in the United States, let's say, but then you have the other half in Japan, and you turn one and the other one instantly turns because they're connected by the fabric of space. Like that stuff just loses me. But it's interesting, it's exciting. I don't fully understand it, but I know it exists. Same thing with dinosaurs. Like I don't fully understand it. I don't know, maybe they all died, maybe some of them
when it
didn't.
happened or what happened.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they say chickens are somehow descendants or something. I don't know. It's like
Oh, I believe birds.
they must
You
be.
see some, a
Yeah,
lot of those birds, you can see a lot of semblance.
yeah,
I do believe that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
do. I believe there was a moment where, I mean, you could see everybody believes that the Earth has evolved multiple times,
yeah. I
destroyed
agree.
itself, and then evolved. Those of us that follow a certain book, they believe that that was a flood at one point in time, and there was a story, and there was all this, right? Not everybody believes that. Science believes differently, but we can all agree that there was things previously,
Things before
and
us.
now they're here,
Yeah,
right? Like
it's true.
the thing that I think detailers will struggle with, and that's the struggle with that same idea paired with, your dad said something that detailers don't say.
Hmm.
What did he say when he was in that room?
Felt like he was the dumbest one in the room. Yeah,
It's interesting, right?
it
It's
is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, then we see posts, we see people, and granted, rightfully so. Every single business in Oklahoma has been affected by the weather.
Hmm.
No doubt about it. Every single business. I've had two different appointments that I myself have had to cancel, right?
Okay.
One one is my therapy that I go to.
Hmm.
Couldn't go. They couldn't service. That business was affected. Two, I have a little celebration dinner I'm doing with some friends and some family. And 2 weeks in a row, I've had to cancel with that steakhouse.
Okay. Weather related. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we can all go, multiple businesses are affected by weather.
True. But
Scared?
Yeah,
Back with that thing the detailers say,
yeah.
right? We can all take a deep breath and go, we understand what we've seen on social media. The vast majority of detailers, most people who are quote unquote professional detailers,
Mhm.
seem to know everything about everything.
That's true. It's true. They'll never admit they're the, quote unquote dumbest person in the
Never.
room or that, but like you have to for real growth. Like my dad told me that was like an opportunity for him to learn more in that weekend than he could
Should we
have.
stop associating as a detailer and call ourselves a car care specialist or somebody that's in car care, right? Like if we know that the industry, the
Mhm.
average person is one way, should we continue in that direction?
Mhm.
Or should we understand when we see this post? All right, I need to know why.
All right.
I've been busting my ass in this business for years, but right now my phone isn't ringing, but I don't know why.
Mhm. Okay.
I didn't see the steakhouse post that. I didn't see my therapy who post online. I didn't see anybody else except a detailer who previously has been in groups that I have seen and has told people how much they know.
Uh,
And here they are. They
Ask it
found
why.
themselves in a place. I don't know why.
Yeah. So previously they had all the answers and now they don't know why. It's very interesting. And that is true because you don't see that from other businesses. That's for sure. 100%. Now, like under other industries. I do see different statistics across the detailing industry than I do through other industries I've worked in or continue to work with. I've seen it a lot more, I'd say, in the detailing side where I've never seen a group of people that just fucking know everything. Number one, and number two, that also are super confused when things don't go quote unquote according to plan, right? And they seem lost almost. And I part of me feels bad for them because they genuinely don't know why. But the other part of it is prior to that, you seem to know everything. And then, you weren't spending time figuring out what you should actually know or figuring out what you actually do know to plan for moments where you might not know. And so looking at that statement might seem kind of confusing, but really it's like, listen, I'm in a perfect environment for this in a way because we have seasons, we have 4 seasons here. They are predictable in the sense that we know there's going to be four, but they're not predictable in the sense that we don't know what day a snowstorm is going to come. So we just had, I think it was a week ago, yeah, last week, we had 3 days. It did not stop snowing the whole time, just did not stop snowing. So some people canceled appointments. Some people rescheduled appointments. Some people tried to make it and they were 2 hours late. Some people just it didn't even call us, nothing, no show. So there was a various bunch of circumstances. But we knew how to handle each of those, not because we knew with a crystal ball what was going to happen, but we had things in place for each different type of scenario that may happen or may not happen. We prep our staff. Hey, winter's coming. We might see an increase in no shows or cancellations or reschedules. So we start following up more with customers ahead of their schedule. We start checking the weather more. We pay attention to what's going on, so we don't have to ask why. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I wanted to just, so you were going to list a bunch of things that you do, and I was just going to go, same as we don't exactly know what happened in the past with dinosaurs,
Mm,
we can all understand past and things that have happened in the past,
yep.
right? We can understand ups and
The ebbs
downs,
and flows, the ups and
flows.
downs. Yep.
We can't.
Yeah.
We can't. There's the key right there, Sean.
Mm.
Because you were talking about all the things. I was like, you're about to list
Yeah.
off all the stuff.
I'm railing off a list. Sorry.
Right? We can't
Yeah,
if our intellect is high enough.
that's true. Because
Ooh, hold on.
oh yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
Because that's
That
a fucking
actually
rough
is
statement.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't skip over that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
actually needed a moment of silence for people to go, "Oh shit, was he talking about me or
yeah.
somebody else?"
Mm.
And it's okay. It's okay. I'm not the brightest guy either. Don't get me wrong. The cool part about if you don't have that intellect, I can play you a song and it
Mm.
goes something like this. Luna, Luna, Luna. Hey,
Yeah,
Luna, Luna, Luna. You don't have to know. You don't.
absolutely. Luna, Luna, Luna. I love
Is
it.
a crystal ball.
Yeah,
Goes by the name Luna.
yeah.
And you can go, hey, what is the next 6 months if you looked around, weather, circumstances, environment, whatever it is, what might affect me or what has affected in the past? You don't have to know.
Yeah.
Just have to not be the smartest person in the room and
Yeah.
ask somebody else who might be. If that somebody else goes by the name of Luna, Luna, Luna,
100%.
look,
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And that's where I gotta touch on this too, because one thing I love is that I'm in a lot of detailing groups, stuff like that, and I contribute some things here and there, but I find that, eh, not to toot my own horn, but the Orbis X group, we've really grown it in a way where it's a community of people that are helping each
yeah,
other. Community, hey, that's right, yeah, salute. And I find that the group is really good because we have people that are in all different climates, all different quote unquote microeconomies, things like that. We're all there to help each other out with advice. And the worst thing you can do is say nothing. If you're going through something, a post about why is this happening isn't helpful. A post of, hey, winter's coming. What do you guys do to prepare? What are some tips that you guys might have for this and that? Those kinds of things. That's a lot more helpful rather than waiting until it's crunch time and you're like, hey, I had 5 cancellations this week. Holy shit. What do I do? Like, you got to start thinking about these things that cancellations might be a possibility, reschedules might be a possibility. Someone getting in a car accident on the way to come see you. How do you even handle that scenario? Like there's all these different types of things that can happen. Just needs a little foresight and
was
forethought.
your answer to her question, right? All right, I need to know why.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, the why has to do with what did or didn't happen yesterday, the day before, and the day before. And if you're not putting in the effort or energy, it's like if you don't put the rod in the lake, why didn't I catch any fish today? Because your tackle box is still at home. That's why. So yesterday, if you did that, it's the whole thing with the farmers. You reap what you sow. The
Very
farmers are prepping in advance of what might happen. And please believe, farmers pay attention to the weather. They pay attention to various things that could impact them at a moment's notice. So you have to start thinking like a farmer and cultivate your business. And you have to start, what kind of nourishment does my business need? What kind of weather is upcoming? What's the economic weather going to be like? Oh, when are the elections? Like here, we have elections coming up next week. So various things happened with Sean recently. Oh, elections are coming up. We know they're coming up. Number one, I own a printing company. Boom. We start reaching out to the candidates saying, hey, we can take care of your printing needs. Obviously. At the same time, we reach out to each of them and we say, hey, we also have a couple small businesses in the city. What can we do to help you guys? Oh, well, the one guy he told us, we have our canvassers go out and we have a guy that he's a volunteer, but he drives them around, he drops them off, picks them up when they're done canvassing with their flyers and stuff. I said, you know what? That guy's volunteering, he's working his ass off. I tell you what, give him a gift card for our auto shop. Oh, really? What's your auto shop called? It's called Auto World. Oh, great. You know what? I really appreciate that. We're going to mention that to a lot of our constituents. Fantastic. You start these kind of relationships so that if there's a cancellation, it doesn't matter. We've already got a lineup of people waiting to come in the door. But it came with knowing that this shit's a possibility. Because why? I don't think I'm the smartest person in the room. I know there's always room for growth. That's why I do, conversations with Marshall before we do the episodes. We talk about all kinds of stuff. I have mentors. I have
I
people I
have
work
to
with.
stop him. Be like, dude, we got to record.
I know, yeah, yeah. We always drop like 50 tips and then it's like, shit, should have hit record a long time ago. Jesus, we need to do like an off the clock and then an off the clock. Jesus, like the extra ones, because man, there's some gold in there. But yeah, it's really, you know what it is? It's putting in not just that little extra, but it's putting in that lot of extra into your business, into your life, into your whatever it happens to be. That planning, that pre-planning,
Going the extra mile, yeah.
going the extra
Like
mile.
it's like you read this, you don't know why. Well, what did you do? Right to your point,
Yeah.
and you did just enough,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Made some posts.
Yeah.
Don't dare say she didn't mark it, Scott. Don't
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you dare. Yeah. Jesus.
stop right now.
Yeah.
Did some stuff, man. You know, sent some things, talked to some people, been around for a while, man. Like,
Yeah. I
but
gotta say,
didn't go the extra mile.
didn't go the
Is
extra
where I
mile.
was tying in with what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
there's a key principle. There's a guy a long time ago that talked about if you were forced to carry something by somebody, which at that time the people in charge could force you to carry what they were carrying, and you had to carry it 1 mile, and that's
Mhm.
where the term comes from.
Going the
And
extra
this
mile.
wonderful gentleman goes, you know what? If they ask you to do one, go ahead and do two.
Mhm.
It's an interesting philosophy that I think so many people get caught on one aspect of it, and that's the servant side of it. There's a key ingredient to the lesson, though, and that is the ability to
Mm.
go the extra mile, the desire, not just on the command to do it, but wanting to go. And what happens when, interesting, this coffee cup I love, I got from the Civil War Museum. What's the, there's no progress without struggle.
Oh, like that. Yeah.
Civil War Museum, just put that into context, okay?
Wow.
Put in context with going the extra mile, right? Like, what happens when you actually take that first step, mile 1.1?
Mm.
What happens when you take the 32nd step and you're at mile 1.32?
Yeah.
What begins to build in you? And then you could
Momentum.
actually go, what did you miss out on if you would have stopped?
Yeah. If you look back and you see,
It's not just for the service of somebody, you gain
yeah.
desire at each point and each thing you're wanting to do. Can I go the extra mile in this? What about
Mm.
this? Do I go the extra mile in this? What happens if I go the extra mile in this? And then what happens when you compound extra mile
Oh man,
year after
you're light
year?
years ahead.
Compounds and that compounds. And
Yeah, 100%. It's a funny thing because I want to touch on this because a lot of people focus on the, oh, well, I posted every day, I did this and that. Look, at my shop, we actually don't post very often on our Facebook page. We just don't. Not because maybe we should, I don't know. But what we've realized is that the majority of our communications with clients that have been successful in bringing new business, bringing repeat business, and getting our current business to spend more hasn't been through social media pages. I'm not saying you don't need to do social media. Maybe that's working great for you as a strategy. What I am saying is that as a tech guy who's very capable of doing this and very capable of automating a lot of it, it hasn't bared the same fruit as going the extra mile in all of our other forms of communication. So picking up the phone, what we realized is that a lot of our competitors spend a lot of time online. So they go after that fruit. Okay, that's fine. That works well for them. But what we found is that what they weren't doing was the phone calls, the personal text messages. They weren't doing sometimes, as crazy as it sounds, we have a shop, but we do at-home visits. Not for their,
local.
we do at-home visits for other things. We do at-home
Oh,
to drop them off a gift, to drop them off an invite to something. So let's say we have something coming up at the shop. We drive around, we drop off some invites to stuff. Randomly, I've mentioned this before on other episodes. Well, snowstorm comes, we go by and we clean out their driveway. Random things like that have yielded far better results for us by going that extra mile versus a couple posts about here's some, weekly car care tips. Like that little bit of effort, it's almost like that saying where, like if it's easy, it's not worthwhile. So we do the hard stuff that other people don't want to do, But that hard stuff is what's yielding us these repeat businesses or repeat customers, the repeat business. And I feel that a lot of people stray away from that because, oh, I'm so busy. I'm just gonna, okay, so I got to do 5 posts a day. I got to do this, that. But first off, you're doing 5 posts a day. Are they even meaningful? Maybe it'd be better at 1 post a week, but make it a banger. That might be the sweet spot, and that might be going the extra mile, putting in the extra research for that 1 post that's full of golden nuggets for your customer versus 5 random posts about nothing. So if it's super, super easy, just because you're doing it in volume doesn't mean it's going the extra mile. And I guess that's the point I'm getting to is
That's
that,
a great point. Yeah.
yeah,
Extra mile in quality.
yes, 100%.
Extra mile and seeing if it works.
Yep.
Extra mile and like we talked about last week, like sitting down and doing the real tapes, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I heard a quote yesterday, was going through some reels, and I heard this quote. I think it's fantastic. It said basically, successful people and broke people that are struggling are both self-made, but only the successful person will admit it. And that's very true.
well, you should have done one of those pause. Like that was. Did you ever used to watch? Wasn't Saturday Night Live did that SNL 50?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it Stuart Smalley? Right? Like,
So yeah.
like go repeat that because that was
All right.
deep,
So
like.
yeah, it is, man. It's so successful people and broke people that are struggling are both self-made, but only the successful person will admit it. You put yourself in that box, whatever it happens to be, whether you're successful or you're struggling. You're the one that made that scenario for yourself. You made that life for yourself. Just as much as if you're in the box you don't want to be in, if you're struggling, you're having trouble finding jobs, customers are canceling on you, the weather, the economy, everything's against you in your words. You can get yourself out of that box, but it takes you. You've got to be the one to put in that effort, put in that work, go that extra mile, and make that happen. And it's one of those things. It's I was reading this post, and my dad sent it to me. He reads a lot of books, as I mentioned. He was reading this book. I can't remember what the title. Something about the Great North. Anyway, I was referencing the hockey team in Canada. So we have a few teams now, but one of our original teams.
The team that lost in '84 was it?
So we don't talk about that.
Every time we bring up soccer, there's a score 7-1. Brazil got destroyed by Germany in the Brazilian World Cup.
Oh,
7-1 on their home field. So I do the same thing. I bring that up. Like, I was like, 7-1. How's that feel? Like,
yeah. How's that feel?
1984 hockey team feel. How's that feel?
Fair enough. Jesus, yeah. So we got some good teams now, but we
of course we had one.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, listen, all you have to do is go, I don't know, how'd the rest of the years feel to you? I'd be like, oh, I don't know, not so great,
True. So yeah, it's funny. I used to play hockey as a kid too, but I played on teams that at the time I think it was called AAA. It was one step below I think it was called the AHL at the time. Anyway, it was like there was the amateur hockey league, and then there was the NHL was the next step. But
if you played in America, you'd already be pro, man.
I'd already be pro, absolutely. yeah, exactly. But then there'd be so many details.
Hockey pro ain't so great.
Yeah, not so great. Yeah. You end up missing teeth and stuff. It's no good. But yeah, I was quite good, and I learned a lot. So I grew up with just my sister. So it was just me and one other sibling. So, and we were kind of estranged, and even now we don't talk much. But I learned a lot of my business stuff from my mom. But I learned she had a bunch of businesses, and I learned a lot of my team building and my ability to work well with others through hockey and soccer. That was my two things where I learned. Because prior to that, like there's people that have a lot of siblings, they learn about conflict resolution. But me and my sister, with the age gap, we didn't really. So I was kind of an only child in a way. And so I learned all my team building stuff through being on teams, through hockey, soccer, things like that. And I found that those experiences really shaped my ability to conduct myself in a certain way in business, because I didn't want to be an entrepreneur that was just self-employed. I worked by myself. I wanted to build teams, And I felt like that was a business to me, is when someone can, I tell them this needs to get done, they execute it, they do it, it gets done. I can manage multiple people that do that. It was the only way to scale because I can't duplicate myself. So for me, that's where the minute I had a team, that was a business. Until then, it was just a job, and which is fine. But I knew what I wanted was run a business, manage teams, and sports and stuff really helped me with that. A big part of sports, every sport, the training aspect of it, and practice is a big one, right? You got to practice, and that's where business. A lot of people just execute. They just get into something. They kind of just like close their eyes and throw the darts and hope it hits the board. But you've got to put in that practice, and that's where the foresight comes from. Of okay, so we got this team we're going to play, so we got to practice these plays or whatever.
Practice happens. This is the thing. I think people will go, yeah, I'm here now.
Yeah.
But then don't actually put into reality of when do I hit the time that I'm done with this and now I start practice? Because they're going to go, hey, I'll do it later. Well, is that later when you're back home with your wife and your kids? Is that later from 5 to 6? Is that from 9 to 12? Like, when does somebody practice?
That's a good question. So at our shop where we practice, so we do have days that are dedicated to practice in the conventional form, where it's we got a training, for example, for staff, right, on certain things. That's where I think a lot of people will go to in their brain. But
Agreed. Yeah,
for
I don't
us,
want to go there. These people are struggling.
yeah.
February
So
hasn't been great. I'm questioning. I want to know why.
exactly, and that's where I didn't want people to go there in their brains where it's like, oh, practice, you mean like training my staff or this, that. No. What I mean is all the other days of the week, all the other days of the year, what we do, so a lot of people are concerned with like overbooking their shop, for example, right? Oh, I want to control my bookings, this and that. But what ends up happening is that you put yourself in a box where you start to kind of limit your marketing, you limit your outreach efforts, you limit your referral requests, all those kinds of things because you're terrified of being overbooked. Being overbooked is probably the best thing that could happen to your business because at that point it's just a hiring problem. You just hire more people. So for us though, in between appointments, we practice every day by following up with customers, asking them how their past experience was. I see you're booked in for, let's say they're booked 2 months out. I see you're booked 2 months out. What would it take to get you back in next month? I know you're going to have a ton of pet hair in your vehicle again, stuff like that. We practice daily talking to customers and trying to fill the
I don't
calendar.
think the average detailer is going to do that.
Well, the average detailer then is going to be on there posting what happened to my business. Why? I think that the average detailer needs to get in the habit of doing things to bring in business. They need to be in the active habit of selling constantly so that when times are slow, they don't have to ask why. It's because you didn't sell enough.
What could they do at practice inside OrbisX? So many people say OrbisX is bundlesome, it's confusing, there's so much stuff. We looked at last week at the guy that hadn't filled out anything. I think people could get bogged down in practice and they just think one or two things. And there actually could be practice of going, how many things am I not doing?
100%.
And then just open up and ask Luna, hey, Luna, could you make me a checklist of all the things in OrbisX that I haven't done yet?
Yeah, that's definitely
What the fuck else do you need to do? Goddamn, like in the podcast right there. Like
it's true. And the good
you
news
want
is
to ask why you don't have people? Or Sean's saying overbook, and you're going, I don't even know how that I don't have it, but how do I practice? Ask Luna what to do. Ask her where you can fill in stuff. Ask her for suggestions. If you don't have ideas, ask.
Yeah, it's true. And here's the beauty about it too. Sometimes you don't even have to ask. For example, if you click on a lead, so you've entered in a lead, someone called you, they were interested in something, you put them in, but you're forgetting to call them back, right? Okay, so now you remember, oh, okay, you set reminders or you see them in the list, I got to call them back. But what do I say? You don't even have to ask Luna. She's already prepped it for you. You click on the AI sales suggestions on the lead, and it has a whole script for you based on what they were interested in, you just call them and read the script. You just say, hey, I see you were interested in ceramic coating. We've got this option. We've got this day available. It's got a whole script of how to sell it, how to overcome the objections. It's right there. So practice. Call them. See if you can close that deal. You're asking why, and you probably have a pipeline of deals that reached out 2 months ago and you never had time to follow up with them. Well, guess what you have now? If you have time to go post, why is this happening to me? You've got time to call some leads.
All right, so let's
Sorry.
no, I love it. It's just you said that, and I go, okay, let's go back to that. Like this
Yeah.
woe is me that we see. And everybody that listens is gonna see it happen. They'll see it in any group, they'll see it from anybody else about they're gonna see the woe is me. Right?
True. Yeah.
And we can take a moment to go, based exactly on what Sean said earlier about successful people and unsuccessful people. If somebody cries, woe is me, and I love this. So I'm asking you, what's stopping you from booking? Is it price, scheduling, something else? Can't fix it if I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me why you're not booking with me.
Oh no.
What?
That's Jesus.
Tell me why you're on telling your customers to tell you why, like,
They're not booking with you. That's craziness. Oh my God. That's
so
Wait a
the
minute.
fun
Was
part.
that a post in a group or was that a post
No,
on their page to customers?
somebody's just on their personal Facebook post.
Oh shit. For some reason I thought that was in a group. That's crazy.
Nope.
Ooh. Ooh.
Customer responses is where it gets really interesting. And so you go, okay, well, they evidently have some type of local network,
Yeah.
some type of people that saw this post and leave a comment, right? So let's ask that question. Is detailing a luxury?
Uh, uh,
And then okay, if you choose to answer that question, which most people do, and they want to voice their opinion, I just go, is that what you want to be?
uh,
Or would you rather be essential?
yeah. 100% essential.
That
100%.
word years ago meant something. God damn it, there was a moment in 2020.
I know. Essential service. Yeah. You know.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We've done reel the tape back, reel the tape back. Can anybody go back to those moments? For those of you that were in detailing, I get it. Not everybody was. Everybody listening, I get it. You weren't in detailing. 2020, we're 2025. The turn ratio, you'll see how fast our industry turns over. It's 2025, and I'm going to cite something only 5 years ago. Who I bet you 75% of the people that are listening maybe don't even know what I'm talking about. They might have lost their job in Corona, right? Or might have gone through some problems in Corona, which got them into detailing in 21,
Yeah.
which is what we're going to find in 25. People in other industries or other things coming into here because they've heard it's a great place to make some money.
Yeah.
It is.
That's true. And it
Any
truly
industry
is.
make some money.
Yeah. It truly is. The
But the
cost of
words years ago,
entry.
some people, and this is the best. I said this over and over. This guy who was a trainer and he did this and I loved it over the years that the company that he promoted and they wore badges together and they put labels on products together and then goddamn that guy had to sell because they didn't know how to run their business.
They were
But
business.
this trainer had told people, hey, just close your doors. We're up here in California. Just close your doors and go for a hike. Enjoy this time.
That's real? That was the advice? Close your doors and go for a hike.
One podcast that I know of at that time, one company at that time I knew of, which was mine. And now I have a partner, Nick. Now we're called HyperClean. But at that time, there's only one company that I knew of that was screaming, do not go home. Keep working. You are essential. If you don't think you are, make yourself essential. Do not stop.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
How the hell
Go for
do
a hike. Fuck.
Essential just means cleaning, and that was the best time ever to be cleaning things.
It was a
And we
gold
saw
mine.
this massive boom. We can all go back. I know we don't know dinosaurs, but those of us that were around, and those of us that were at least, even though you maybe not were a professional detailer, you at least went into places. We can all remember how important cleaning.
It was, yeah.
It was essential.
Uh-huh. I got a letter from the city saying they couldn't.
Detailing to luxury. You did it wrong, buddy. We told you that part of the river had alligators. That's why there's a lot of bones, and oil's really great down there. And there's a lot. Yeah, got it. Detailing, John. You do a lot more than detailing cars.
Yeah.
You've made yourself essential. Is detailing luxury? I don't know. Don't be a detailer. Be in car care. Have everything available that you want for your customer base. Like,
100%.
and make sure it includes cleaning. Clean stuff.
And that way you're essential.
Cleaning is essential.
And you do exactly, and you do everything else. We stayed open during the entire pandemic because I reached out to the city and I said, we'll take care of the first responders' vehicles, the fire trucks, etc., yada yada. If you write us a letter saying that during no time during the pandemic, you'll be able to close us down. So no matter what inspectors come, no matter whatever, we can tell them to just get lost. They did. They agreed. They said, yeah, cleaning, you're essential. They signed off on that. All my competitors closed their doors, did the quote unquote right thing. You know, it's like, you guys are fucking nuts. So we stayed open the whole time. We were cleaning cars, we were doing windshield replacements, tinting, you name it. We stayed open because we were essential. And reality is, cleanliness is next to godliness. And cleanliness is something that human beings search for, strive for, crave.
Human nature.
Yeah, it's human nature, absolutely. And you brought up a good point earlier where you mentioned that guy that was on Airbnb. So my wife and I, we just closed on a rental property, and we were deciding, should we rent it out to tenants or should we do Airbnb? We weighed the pros and cons. We were like, well, we have no mortgage, so we might as well just do Airbnb because we're not in a rush to rent it out because we have to cover the mortgage or whatever, so we could just take our time. And I said, this is perfect because actually Marshall's got a whole line of products that we can coat everything with and it'll make cleaning a breeze. So my wife said, perfect. And we're going to do the cleaning because we want it done right. We've got the tools. We can use the same chemicals, same tools, same process we do at the auto shop, but just for a rental property. And I said, okay, yeah, that's great. And my wife told me, she said, because even if we don't initially have all the bells and whistles or whatever, like maybe there's no hot tub there yet, maybe there's no this and that. She said, as long as it's extremely clean, people will want to stay there and leave us good reviews. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right, because cleaning is essential. We all see those shows, I don't remember what they're called, but like, like a 60-minute special kind of thing. They go into hotels and
yeah, that's the
lights
best.
and like all the germs. People tune into that shit because we want to see, we're like, what's going on in that hotel, because we have a fear. There's a fear inside us, it's biological, of germs. And so there's no way that your detailing business can't be essential. And it's much more than just the aesthetics. We focus so much on the mirror finish, the this and that, The two things that you're doing for somebody, in my opinion, that make it essential for them to open up their wallet and pull out that MasterCard, the two things you're doing, cleanliness and saving them time. Focus on those two things as your value add and you're golden. The appearance, I would say, is third. The appearance is going to appeal to certain people with their ego, their this, their that, but
with you on 1 and 2, 3. I'm gonna go.
Push back.
I'm gonna go. Appearance is 4. I'm gonna go third.
Okay.
Third is that I look out the windows, I look through things, and I experience.
Experience. Okay. Yeah.
I think experience is massive. The number one problem that people have, the number one experience problem, the number one thing is always glass.
Yeah.
Glass.
That's true.
It really is. Whether it's how much you spray, whether you hold your towel, no matter what.
Throw mirrors in there too. Glass and mirrors. Yeah.
Expressly that windshield. You could have everything, and then if that customer has to look through something and see streaks.
Yeah.
1 and 2 disappear. They do.
Yeah.
1 and 2 are the most important. But if they
But if they
look
look
out
through the
that
mirror,
windshield and they don't have clear
yeah,
glass, you
it's
could have
true.
done everything great. So I want to offer something for number 3.
All right.
How do you dummy proof number 3?
Mm.
I gave Glass Clean version 2 to a guy that has zero history other than working here in our warehouse.
All right.
And when he cleaned his car and he looked at me, all you had to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went to a wedding this weekend. So many people look at the bride when they come out, right? The bride comes out. Everybody's looking at the bride.
Their
I look at the
days,
bride.
friends. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
my bride. Everybody's
Yeah.
like, and all the men are like, I'm like, no, I really. So this weekend, I looked at my buddy.
Mm.
He was my buddy. And any of you go to a wedding, don't look at the bride, look at the groom. The best thing in the whole wedding is to look at that groom's face. The
Ah,
moment she walks around the corner, right?
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
moment, and he's anticipating, looking, and there she is, and it's just like
That moment. Yeah, yeah.
that moment is what he did to me. Everybody struggles with glass. It's
Yeah.
so hard.
It's
When
true.
he looked at me, and he looked at it, he goes like he accomplished something he didn't think he had been able to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good. And why is it good? It doesn't grab. And I have a polymer in there. I have something special that actually the characteristic of this specific attribute of this chemical is clarity. It's made by Michelman. And
Oh,
inside of their technical data sheet, it's defined as one of its attributes is clarity. You will actually be able to clearly see out of your windshield better.
yeah. See, and that's a huge thing though.
Solve the problem.
Us at our shop, that was the biggest thing. I can tell you right now, aside from we had 2 employees that like one took off a customer's bumper. We fixed it anyway, whatever. He was fired. He said he could drive stick. He couldn't. Aside from situations like that, the biggest it happens. It's business. The biggest issue we've had with employees has been mirrors and glass because you could do the whole car perfect if they miss something, like maybe, so for us, for example, we get a lot of people from Gatineau, a lot of them are smokers. They come, there's a film residue on the inside of the glass. If they can't see perfectly, they don't give a shit that you clean the car perfectly, that there's tires shine. They don't give a rat's ass. They look
Your
out there,
correction, your levels of correction, your years of this, your
they don't care. The
labels,
thing on the wall, they don't care.
I did something on some website in case you sell your car and it's going to say that some service was done. Oh, this Carfax that they then changed the company Carfax.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
remember it used to be a Fox that used
yeah.
to be called Carfax.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. They kept the fox in the
Mhm.
logo, changed the name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Carfax. Yeah, but
The
which
Fox
is
sounded too suspicious.
yeah, yeah, yeah. See, yeah, they must have been
But
clever,
it is.
clever like a fox.
Call it like you see it.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Oh shit, our name tells us what we are. We better change our name from Fox to Fax.
Yeah, exactly.
Fax. Fax it in. That's good.
Fax. Yeah, fax it in. Yeah, it's so funny. They chose the name after like the most ancient technology now. You know what I mean? Like
No, but
fax.
still,
Crazy.
they changed their name because I guarantee you they had proof of the system like, hey, Fox, that's not good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just,
yeah. Oh, 100%.
we're a suspicious company anyway, so we shouldn't have.
And choosing a fox as, yeah, it's a strange thing. Absolutely, that's right. Yeah, I always get a kick out of names. There's I can't remember the name of the website. Oh, Experts Exchange. There used to be this website, and maybe it's still around. I don't know, but where like tech people could exchange things. So if you have an answer to someone, how do I do this in whatever platform or whatever, people would give suggestions and they would help you with tech stuff and things like that. And it was called Experts Exchange. But when you look at the actual domain name, it said expert sex change. And so they were like, whoops. So they kept it, but I think they rebranded recently anyway. But yeah, it's one of those things. But I think that's where things like what you said, like the glass, the mirrors, that's all part of going the extra mile. Those kinds of things, that's what helps build that foundation so that you don't have to wonder why. People will just be coming back. So even if the weather's a little, off or something, you might miss a day or two, but it's not going to be a week or two, and that can be the make it or break it point for a lot of businesses, where if you have cancellations for 2 weeks steady versus, oh, it's only one day, your business isn't going to fold because of that, assuming you did things right beforehand. And so I'll wrap up with a quick story that illustrates this point of going the extra mile. And so in Canada, so we have some hockey teams, of course, but we used to have.
Oh yeah, we never did that.
I know we got way off, absolutely, but that's okay. That's okay. It's part of the process. So
Instead of bouquets, this round we're rabbits. We're chasing rabbits. No more bouquets. We're chasing rabbits.
Absolutely, but as long as we catch them in the end, that's all that matters, And so we used to have Dawson City Nuggets. So it was a hockey team that we had here, way up north, and we're going back. I think their game was, 1900 something. My dad sent me the article, but he's reading this book and he sent me this follow-up about it. Looking here, okay, so 1905. So going back quite a ways. So 1905, Dawson City Nuggets, they were supposed to play the team that we have here in my city, which is now it's the Ottawa Senators. Back then it was the Silver Senate. So they're supposed to play this team. In today's day and age, that's no big deal, right? I mean, we play Florida all the time, for example. You hop on a flight, they meet up, whatever hockey rink they're going to play. Life is good. They play the game. It's done. That kind of stuff happens on a weekly, daily basis kind of thing, right? However, we're going back to 1905, going back quite a ways. So you're a hockey team, you're up in the far north, you're going to go play this team, and they were playing it was a big championship thing. It was going to be to see who's the best in Canada kind of thing. The trek that these guys had to make, though. So these guys had to be somewhat decent. So they had to put in a lot of practice, a lot of time, just to get to the level that they were at. But then now they're going to go play against another team that's thousands of miles away. So to start this journey, there were no planes at the time that could just fly them in. It wasn't as simple as, oh, we'll just book a flight on Expedia.com or whatever. That didn't exist. So the first thing they had to do, they went to Alaska. So where was it? They went to, I can never remember the pronunciation, so I gotta find it here. Skagway, Alaska. So they went there to catch a steamer, so a train basically, to Vancouver. So they went all the way from wherever they were to the opposite coast of Canada. They caught a steamer, they went all the way down to Vancouver, and then now their plan was to go all the way to Ottawa. As they were going, the
Good
weather
plan? Not a good plan?
Not a good plan. So we'll get this though. You want to talk about weather impacting someone's business?
Was that like the average Canadian plan? Like
Pretty much, yeah. We get a discount, if you do the full circuit. Absolutely, yeah. They give you a couple bottles of maple syrup and you make it through. And so, so these guys though, imagine this: the weather changed on them, so they weren't able to take the train anymore because it was too dangerous. So guess what they had to do? 3 days before they were supposed to play, they had to bicycle. Let that sink in. Bicycle. 330 miles.
in the snow?
In the snow, in the sleet, in the hail. So 330-mile trek, they went to Whitehorse. All right, so it says here, at first the team made good progress, but the weather turned
Canadians are a
warm
little
enough.
strange, huh?
Yeah. Listen, we got fighter in us, you know what I mean? We're good. Hey, we were founded by Vikings, basically. That's what it is. But so the weather warmed up a little bit, and so it meant that the roads were thawed a little, which was good. But at this point now, their bicycles were worn out, so they had to walk several hundred miles to finish the rest. Okay. It says the team spent the nights in police sheds along the road. At Whitehorse, the weather turned bad, causing the trains not to run for 3 days, and it caused the Nuggets to miss their steam were in Segway. The next one could not dock for 3 days due to an ice buildup, and they found the sea journey treacherous, causing seasickness amongst the team. When the steamer reached Vancouver, the area was too fogged in to dock, so the steamer docked in Seattle. The team from there caught a train to Vancouver, and they finally left Vancouver on January 6th. They arrived in Ottawa on January 11th. 5 days later. Just think of that journey. Now, the crazy part,
Bicycle and walking for 5 days.
yeah, exactly. Like that's just to play a game of hockey. Now, the crazy part, because Ottawa, we wanted to win. So, despite the difficult journey, the Ottawa team refused to change the date of the first game.
You assholes.
But they said otherwise, Ottawa was very hospitable and we welcomed them in. So we didn't change the date. We ended up winning, so they didn't win, unfortunately. But probably because they 303-mile bicycle ride, which is crazy. But it goes to show you the tenacity. That's what people had to do back then, and that was probably a pain in the ass, I imagine. But they might not have looked at it as such. They might have just been like, this is what people have to do to travel. That's to get from here to there. That's what we have to do. And I think that in business, we look at advancements in technology and things that make life so quote unquote simple. And we say, oh, well, we don't have to do much anymore because this exists and this exists and it's going to do it all for me. And I don't have to lift a finger. But the reality is, if you want to win the Stanley Cup, if you want to win the big prize at the end, you do still have to put in a lot of work. So it's not a video game where you just choose a player and you say, okay, great, you hit the ice and you do this and that. In video games, you don't have to do the practice. You just jump right into the game. You get to choose the person, you get to put the powers, this and that. But in the real world, you still have to do the practice. You don't just get unlimited ammo and get the re-up and all this. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the practice. You have to put in the extra mile to reach those destinations. And there was one time my parents gave me this little plaque. I still have it hung up, and it says, the most beautiful destinations have the roughest roads to get there. And it's the
Let's
truth.
do final quotes. Final quotes. This
Yeah.
is a pretty good episode. Like a lot of the, so use that, what you just said, final quote of the episode, and I've got one I wrote down. So you go ahead.
All right, so yeah, I think that's the lesson to be learned here is that you put in that hard work and you'll get to that prize. You'll get to that destination. It requires the practice, requires the grit, requires the hard work every day. You've got to put it in. There's no shortcut and there's no such thing as a free lunch. And so final quote is, there was this old king and he asked his troops and stuff. He said, go around the world and I want you to talk to the most successful people in every country you can and find to me what the secret of life is, what the secret of success is. So he sent his team out, they came back and they had a 400-page report. He said, no, it's too long. No one's going to read it. He says, I want you to go out again and I want you to, talk to them again, but try and condense it down. So they went out again, they came back, they had a 200-page report. He said, it's still too long. This is crazy. So the emperor sends them back out again, says, I want you to make this so simple that anybody can understand it. What is the secret to success? He sends them out again. They come back and they said, what size do you want it? And he says, honestly, I want it to be one paragraph or a sentence. And they said, geez, okay, fine. They go, they collectively talk about it. They come back and now they're ready to present this to the king, the emperor. And they say, okay, we've summed it down, the key to success. And he says, okay, what is it? And they said, there's no such thing as a free lunch. That was it. And so you got to put in the work. Nothing's going to be handed to you. Nothing's going to come easy. Expect challenges. Expect a rough road ahead. But it's worth it in the end if you put the time in and the practice in and you get ready for game day. But you have to review the tapes. That's as simple as it is. There's no shortcuts. So that's it for
I've
me.
been listening to a book, and the way I do it is I listen over and over. But I don't read. I can't read, so I have to listen. We can all understand you can't listen to a book all the way through. And then you can't press pause and really kind of understand everything each time. So
Sure.
I listen over and over and over multiple times, literally as many times as I can do it. And that book is How to Own Your Mind. I think I've said it a couple, right?
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill. His most famous book is How to Think and Grow Rich. He interviews that steel mongrel from back in the day. Another book is How to Own Your Mind. And he has this quote: out of every adversity brings with it the seed of every benefit.
Damn, that is deep.
Adversity brings the seed of
Yeah.
the benefit. But think about a seed.
Jeez.
Adversity doesn't bring the benefit.
No, it brings the
The
seed.
seed,
Still has to grow, be cultivated, nourished.
all the work you just talked about. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of
Market.
work from seed to harvest. But
Damn.
out of an adversity, you can find a seed. So
Yeah.
if you're somebody that is going, February wasn't 25, what February 24 was,
Mhm.
okay. So you have adversity. Now, out of this adversity, there's a seed. You choose to find the seed and choose to work to cultivate that seed, you will harvest and there will be a benefit out of it.
100%. Man, that's deep. I think people are gonna have to rewind the one, let that hit you back because that that is something right there. Because seriously, the adversity is what it is that it's not that everything in life needs to be hard. It's that to get to the best destinations, usually it is hard. Every successful entrepreneur, they all go through those hardships, not because they were placed in some area that was harder than others or something like that. It's just it's part of the process, you know?
If you have an adversity of glass cleaning, listen, there's a seed called Glass Cleaner 2.0. Go for it right now.
Absolutely. See, grab those.
On OrbisX, you
Yeah.
can go order on OrbisX,
Yeah.
solve your problem, order it through OrbisX, and let's see what happens.
100%. I'm gonna
Great
post a
episode.
link after this too. You'll know exactly where to find it in the app, and yeah, you're good to go. Trust me. And then we can all see clearly. I love it. On that note, I'm gonna need some too because we're installing a new glass shower at the new Airbnb, and it's funny. We limit ourselves to being detailers, but I honestly want to rename my shop from Auto World to like Auto and Home World or something like that because we've been actually doing a lot more jobs where it's residential and people's showers, countertops, you name
At
it.
a core, the chemicals and
Yeah.
all chemicals are cross-used
Hmm.
at the core. So it
Yeah.
does cross over.
Yeah, and which is perfect because imagine you get a customer for detailing, so you now take care of their car. Well, they go home somewhere. You know what I mean? So wherever their home is, they likely have something, some surface that you can coat, that you can provide them a product they can clean with on a regular basis. All these kinds of things that adds up. So that becomes an overall just care. That's the industry you're in, the care part.
Here you go.
So whether
Get it
it's
all through
auto,
OrbisX
home,
and see how the community, see how everything built. It's all built for you. Go handle it through OrbisX. Go ask Luna and let's go do
yeah,
it. Let's
100%.
go
Luna
do it.
knows
Let's go.
everything. That's
2025. Here we
it.
go.
Salute. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.